What's up, guys? Chris Chess Sports Cards here. We are doing 2022 Topps Pro Debut, third hobby case break number 2. 10:28 on the clock. We're starting at 10:30, so just hang out for a minute and we'll get rolling. Thanks for joining us tonight. This is what the bit rate tonight. Jumping all over the place. Craziness. Craziness. What's up, guys? Chris Chess Sports Cards here. We're doing 2022 Topps Pro Debut, third hobby case break number 2. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Especially if you're new to the channel, welcome. A little bit about us. We've been around for 5 years now. We break mostly baseball, a little bit of everything else mixed in. We ship all cards from every break. We're very generous with the top loading, and we ship as quickly as our little hands will move, usually within a day or two of the break. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We do free breaks, and when we do them, we use our subscriber list from YouTube for the random. We just did one the other night. Well, did the random anyway. Yeah, I know. That Wander Auto sells for 14. Dude, that blaster break was insane. That blaster break was insane. The sepia alone covered the spot. The sepia Wander he pulled alone covered him. So it was awesome. Sorry. So hit that subscribe button so you can maybe get in one of our future free breaks. They're very fat, they're very fun, and they're very good. So also chefsportscards.com. We got the website. We got a bunch of stuff up there. We just need the spots to sell. So head on over to chefsportscards.com. Every break we give away a box of Topps Series 2, and every time we do a full sellout, we give away a box of Clearly Authentic. So tons of giveaways, free super cheap spots, as cheap as you can get them. We got Prism over there. We got Topps Chrome. We got Bowman. We got Series 2, all kinds of stuff. So head on over to chefsportscards.com. I actually put a link in the chat there for the Prism break. So you can click on that. It'll take you right to the website and you can check it out. All right, let's. You were bidding on Tampa, John? Oh, man. Hey, Mike, how are you? Thanks for joining us, buddy. Appreciate it. All right, let's go over the teams. D-backs, Joe T. and Braves, Barat R. Orioles, Daniel O. Red Sox, Joel R. Cubs, Ray A. White Sox, Matthew B. Reds, Tony F. Guardians, Yanka C. Rockies, Joe T. Tigers, Thomas L. Royals, Brian R. Astros, Sheila N. Angels, Max C. Dodgers, Jeremy J. Brewers, John T. and Twins, Chris F. Marlins, Jeremy J. Mets, David D. Yankees, Nick G. A's, and Nick D. Phillies, Rebecca C. Pirates, Daniel M. Cardinals, Chris L. Padres, Matthew B. Giants, Deborah S. Mariners, Thomas L. Rays, Cody S. Rangers, Brad A. Blue Jays, Jonathan F. and Nationals, Chris F. Yeah, that blaster break. I mean, we were having a very successful. Oh well, thank you, Samantha. I appreciate that. We were having a very successful break even before the Wander auto hit. That just was like the cherry on top, you know. Yeah, that was a crazy blaster break. I mean, we had what, 4 colored autos in 10 boxes, plus a base auto too. 5 autos in 10 boxes. You can't complain about that. Doesn't matter who they are. And one of them just happened to be a blue Wander. Insane. Well, Thomas will like me for a while now, at least. So you're only as good as your last hit, right? As your last good pull. All right, let's open some cards. See what we can find. Good luck, everybody. All righty. So, Pro Debut, if you're not hugely familiar with Pro Debut, is the one, is the backwards product where you actually get more autographs and hobbies than jumbos, but you do get chrome cards in jumbos. And I do have some cases of jumbos sitting right behind me here. We will be doing jumbos next week. We're going to have another one of the, we're going to have the last third of this case on Tuesday night, and then next week, I think Thursday and Saturday or something like that, we're going to do a jumbo case. So, Pro Debut is such a great way to add some really top-notch named autos to your collection at a very fraction of the cost. I mean, De La Cruz, brick by brick. I mean, you realize they're not Bowman firsts or they're not Topps Chrome rookies, but there's a ton of huge names in here that you can get. I hope so, John. All right. Well, we're going to start with a Hernaiza for the Orioles. From my man Daniel. Haven't seen Daniel in a little bit. How you doing, buddy? Daniel is one of our resident Oriole fans. Daryl Hernaiza. You got the Giants? Oh, the Giants have good. We pulled a really nice hit for the Giants last night. Let's see if we can't do one for you tonight. We pulled a real nice Luciano insert auto last night. There's my man Warming. God, what a great name. He's one of, yeah, I really want to meet his parents and want to find out where that name came from. I mean, I realize that's a name. Warming is a name I've never heard of on a human being before. And he's good, man. He's killing it in the minors. Montgomery drafty debut. Need to pull one of these like triple autos out of here that they have. Scotto. Should probably put a Pro Debut break on the website too. Marte brick by brick. And Kevin Made green auto for the Pelicans, which is the Cubbies. 44 of 99. The Myrtle Beach Pelicans for Ray. They are still good. See, now I had to double check. Yeah, they're still with the Cubs. Sometimes I forget about like the realignment from 2 years ago and think I'm going to make a mistake. There you go. Nice one. Like I said, the only thing I miss out of here, I mean, I like the fact that they put more autos in it, but they did have these really fun relics in Pro Debut before the pandemic. And the reason they stopped was because during the pandemic, they didn't have a season. So they said they had no relics to do it. And now I guess they've just decided to stick with it used to be 2 autos and 2 relics in a box. And the relics were fun because it was like, a hot dog vendor shirt or some crazy nonsense like that. Palmaris, numbered 83 of 199. Like, I have a couple of them. I know there's one, I can see the guy's face. It was from like 5 or 6 years ago. It was from, I think, Williamsburg or something like that. And it was like one of the ticket takers' pants or something. I don't know, some ridiculous nonsense. But some of the relics they did were really cool. Like, they would do like the flags and stuff from the field. They would do all kind, and they were really cool looking, like kind of like relics you see in like Trinity, like crazy patches and stuff like that. Jason Dominguez, brick by brick. Jeez, what was the over under on this Kansas City game? My God, they're scoring points like it's falling out of the sky again. Wow, that drives me crazy. Well, working the rainbow, the Kevin Made rainbow. Yeah, in fact, I have a few of them. I'm gonna. I know there was a great one the year before the pandemic. The set before the pandemic, they had one of the California teams. I know a bunch of them do it, but God, what team was that? And they do a Taco Tuesday, like where it's like an all-you-can-eat taco night at the stadium, and they wear these special jerseys on Taco Tuesday, like these like Spanish jerseys and stuff, and they're all like super colorful and everything. And they did a bunch of relics out of those. They were really cool. But I guess they just decided to stick with the more autos now, which nobody ever complains about more ink. Kowser debut. George Valera, brick by brick. All right, we should have one more auto coming. One of these 2 packs. The chrome cards in Jumbo are really nice, though, too. And they have chrome autos and stuff in there, so. May the Schwartz be with you. JT Schwartz for the Mets. For the Metropolitans is David. Rich isn't here tonight. Rich is boycotting us tonight. There you go, David. JT Schwartz. May the Schwartz be with you. Malfrin Sosa. All right, box number 2. So we're doing, I think I said it earlier, I'll say it again. We're doing another one of these on Tuesday. We're doing Prism Tuesday night also. And then next week we're doing Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday next week. So we'll have a nice full week. And hey, if you want to go to the website and fill some spots there, we'll break on the other days too. And for the Giants, Diego Velasquez from the Arizona, or ACL, I'm sorry, Giants. Deborah, which I believe is Mike, right? There you go. Giants have some great people. Well, they have Luciano for one. I mean, he's one of the top guys in here. So, but the Giants tend to be a forgotten team, I find, in breaks. They always sell for very cheap. Now, in defense of that, there's usually the amount of hits for the Giants aren't as much as other teams are, but them and the Cubs are like the forgotten teams. Henry Davis, a drafty debut. Until we pull like a 1-on-1 Rizzo or something like that. Then everyone's like, wait a second, why didn't I buy the Cubs for $6? We had that happen last month where, what were we doing? Chronicles, last year's Chronicles. And the Cubs usually sell for the minimum. I mean, but there's still a lot of guys, even guys who are gone, are still in those sets, and we pulled a 1-on-1 printing plate auto of Anthony Rizzo. Ooh, there's Jordan Walker. That's the man right there. And for Tejas, Ian Moeller for Tejas. For Brad. There you go, buddy. I hate to say it, boys. My Eagles look pretty damn good. I'll say this, too. T-Law is a monster, man. After seeing him in person today, I was like on the 30-yard line, like 8 rows from the field and right behind the Jaguars bench. My God, he is massive, T-Law. And he is chiseled like Captain America. Like his arms are like insane. I was like, my God, no wonder. He's like a specimen, that kid. Sam Bachman, 71 of 199 for the Angels, I believe. I think it's the Angels. Pretty sure. I mean, he didn't have his best day today, and because he was playing the Eagles, of course. But my God, that dude is. It looks like he's been chiseled out of stone or something, man. It's crazy. It is amazing. Like, I hadn't been to an NFL game in a few years, not since before the pandemic. And first of all, parking was $45. Unless, of course, you were oversized. And guess what? I drive an oversized truck. So it was $90 to park at the game. I was like, oh my Lord. When I pulled up, I was doing the math. I was like, they must make like $15 million in parking alone for a game. But like, The thing that strikes me about, I mean, any sport it does, but football especially strikes me as it's this massive, massive, multi-billion-dollar industry. And when you actually go to a game and watch it, you're like, it's just a bunch of 20-somethings playing football. Like, it has, on TV, it has so much grandeur to it. You know what I mean? Martinez. And don't get me wrong, it's great. I love it and ton of fun and this and that and being in the crowd, and especially today in that monsoon that we were in. But still, it's like, after seeing it, I got a little bit of a man crush on, $90. Can you believe it? And in fairness, that's because, look at this. Old Jason Dominguez auto for the Tampa Tarpoons. For Nick G. There you go, buddy. Old Jason Dominguez action. And it, so I drive a Ford F-150, right? I have a 2018 Ford F-150, and it's a Class 2 vehicle because it's over a half ton or whatever. I don't know what weight it is, and I actually don't have the Class 2 sticker in my window. I've never put it in. It's in my glove compartment because I'm kind of like right on the line, and my mechanic's always like, they'll never say anything. Don't put anything in. That way you won't have to pay more for tolls and this and that. So when I pulled up today and I saw it was $45 for parking, $90 for oversized, I was like, well, I don't have my Class 2 sticker on, so it should be $45. And of course, you can't pay cash for anything. It has to be credit card. Whether you're buying a pretzel and a soda or you're paying for, everything is credit card. So I just handed the guy my credit card to park and didn't even look until I came home later and was like, they charged me $90, those bastards. But yeah, I would say, man, maybe a little bit of a man crush on T-Law after seeing him today. Not a crush as much as just I mean, all of those guys, their physicality in general is the work they put in is just amazing. Like, you see these guys, they're like I said, they look like they're chiseled out of stone or something, some of these guys. That's what's interesting about baseball nowadays. Like, I remember going to baseball games when I was a kid and seeing guys like John Kruk and Dalton, and not that Dalton was the California boy, but not that he was heavyset or anything like that. But the typical baseball player was not really hugely athletic. I mean, there were some obviously, but you didn't. And now baseball players, like, I remember the first time I saw Jason Hayward when he was playing for the Braves, like, I don't know, however long ago, 15 years ago or whatever it was. He could have been a linebacker on any football team the size of that dude. And now you look at guys like Judge or O'Neal Cruz. I mean, O'Neal Cruz is a shortstop, for God's sake. And I mean, they're huge, these guys. But it is interesting. I mean, football is a much better sport on TV than it is live. I mean, don't get me wrong, the crowd, the this, the that, and I like to go every once in a while. I don't think I could easily be a season ticket holder for a baseball team. I don't think I would ever be for a football team, though, even if I had the opportunity. Alexander Mojica for the Pirates, numbered 80 of 99. Because honestly, football plays better on TV because of the replays, because of the, you're not, when you're there live at the game, you're constantly waiting on television timeouts and this and that. And like I said, the energy of the crowd and everything is so much fun, but I don't know. It just plays better on TV, where some other sports don't at all. Some other sports are much better live. But yeah, it was fun. If the weather was nice, it would have been awesome. It would have been perfect. But unfortunately, the entire reason I picked this game to go to, so I got these tickets for free from a vendor, and he asked me, like, when do you want to go? And I literally, for weather reasons, picked this game. I thought, like, first weekend of October, 1:00 Sunday game, weather's going to be beautiful, 60 degrees, 65 degrees, this and that. That was my whole reason for going to the Jaguars game. And then we're in the middle of the tail end of a hurricane. So my son's going to another game later in the year. I think he's going to see the Titans later in the year in like December or something like that. But you haven't been to a Packers game in 17 years. So when, first of all, I mean, a lot of you guys know this who are regulars. My wife is a massive sports fan. Like one of the things I was blessed with. Well, not baseball, but some other sports she knows more than I do. Hockey and basketball especially. She has a much wider knowledge of those two than I do. Football, we're probably along the same lines, and baseball, mine is much, much more than hers. And we used to go to games all the time before my son was born. Eddie Leonard for the Loons. Pretty sure that's the Dodgers. 174 of 199. Like we used to travel all over the place. We were in Milwaukee for the Eastern Conference Finals with the Sixers back in whenever that was, 2000 or whatever it was. We were in LA for the finals. We went to St. Louis for the NFC Championship. We were pretty well traveled back then before my son was born. When my son was born, it all stopped. So, although in fairness to my wife as being a fan, so my son was born the year that the Eagles lost to New England in the Super Bowl, 2005. And we went to a game that year in like October. My wife was like 6 months pregnant at that point. Not a big deal. I mean, a big deal, but not, 6 months pregnant. That's okay. Ryan Holgate for the Cardinals. For Chris. There you go, buddy. But they went to the Super Bowl, and the Super Bowl was the week my wife was due. And she did everything to try and talk me into taking her to Jacksonville for the Super Bowl. Like, it's the one time in my life I ever actually, like, really had to tell my wife, like, no. Like, because I don't win any argument ever. If she says, she's the boss, by far. And I was like, are you out of your mind? Like, she wanted to get on a plane and go to Jacksonville. And she had my son, like, 6 days after the Super Bowl. She actually had him late. But if I would have said yes, she would have gone. Like, she was nuts for that stuff. But ever since my son was born, that calmed down a lot. So, there's a reason why I was telling you. Irubel Angelis for the Lugnuts. I think that's 86 of 150. Isn't he Padres? Who is the Lugnuts? I can't remember. Oakland Raiders? Yeah. Well, and it's funny, too, because I asked my wife, I got these tickets for this game. Oakland. Okay, Oakland is the Lugnuts. David. There you go, buddy. I got the tickets for the game earlier, or like on Wednesday. They sent them to me because, like I said, they were from a vendor. And I knew they'd send me two. And I said to my wife, if you want to go, I'll try to find you a ticket close to ours. Yeah, I'll buy it on StubHub or whatever. And I was like, I'll get you a ticket. We'll figure it out, And she's like, it's okay. And then thank God I did it with the way the weather was, because she would have never gone in there. She would have 20 years ago. She's not now. Like I said, it took a lot to get me there today. I am definitely a wuss in my old age. Like, oh God, I'm not looking forward to this. Although, like I said, we had a great time. Anytime I could spend with my kid is awesome. So it was fun. I think he was actually more miserable than I was in the end. Like, The first half, my son was all like, yeah, into it. He's talking. He's this. By the time the second half came around, after halftime, it was really brutal. And it was so cold. And even my son, like, shut up at that point. And Jose Torres for the Tortugas. Eagles were driving in, like, the beginning of the fourth quarter. And I was waiting him out. I was like, I'm going to make him say it. And he turned to me. He's like, if they score a touchdown, could we go? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. You could ask me at halftime, I would have left. We were soaked to the bone. Tortugas is Seattle, maybe? I do like to know who the autographs are, if I can remember. Now, maybe one of you guys will know it. I mean, I can't remember who the Tortugas are, but I feel like it's Seattle, but I'm probably wrong. I do have a little cheat sheet here that I'm trying to look at. Anyway, moving on. If one of you guys can look it up or tell me, that'd be cool. Well, the other thing too is just cost, and I mean this is something we've talked about with other things before, but and see back in the day when we had Vet Stadium in Philly, I don't know a better way to say this, but honestly, like there's all these crazy stories about Vet Stadium, especially the 700 level, which was the top of the stadium, and but I mean, honestly, like half of the people there were like homeless who were there. I mean, you would go to these games and be like, how did these people get the money for this? But they would save all year. It was just tradition. It was in their family, this and that. When they moved to Lincoln Financial like 20 years ago, they basically priced a lot of people out. Um, Alex Ramirez for the Mets to 199. That's a good one there. Um, with the seat licenses and all that other nonsense. However, they make money. But I mean, it is just damn expensive. I mean, it doesn't matter how much money you make; it's expensive to go to a game. You know, Andrew Painter for the Phils, 65 of 150. Like even like I said, like I was looking for a ticket for my wife, and I went on StubHub. It was like $500 for where we were sitting. I know that's not the face value, but nowadays, who knows what the value on anything is. And I'm not against paying for something if I want to see it, but it's like once a year is fine, but for the 8 or 10 games plus the playoffs, this or that or whatever, no freaking way. I'm spending that way. I'd rather sit on my couch, eat something while I'm watching it. But I know other people too who do have season tickets and who are really into it, and they do swear up and down you can't the energy and the this and that, and I believe that's true. But I'm not really a tailgate guy, so I don't. That's not a big draw for me. I mean, I'll go hang out with you, but that's another thing I've never understood about football. You go to these football games, these people are so wrecked before the game even starts. They spend all this money to go to NFL games, and they're so drunk they can't see straight. Like 2 hours before the game even starts, it's like, Jesus, why don't you stay home? Like I dared to even look how much a beer costs. I didn't even know. I didn't even look. I should have actually. It's probably like $20 for a beer. Those teams make so much money. It is obscene the amount of money they make. Max Ferguson for the Lake Elsinore Storm to 75, 56 of 75. Packers got $500 million from the city for renovations and then priced out the common. Yeah, well, it's the same thing here. I mean, that stadium was owned by the city, but the link, I'm pretty sure, is owned by Jeffrey Lurie and the Eagles, if I'm not mistaken, even though the city paid for like half of it, you know. Well, that's why it's like crazy. So they were talking about it on sports radio a couple of weeks ago. Jeffrey Lurie bought the team in the 90s, the Eagles in the 90s, and he paid, I think it was either 154 or 184 million for the team at the time. I think it was 184. I can't, either way. But now the team's worth like $3 billion or some nonsense like that. I mean, that's not the number. I'm just making a number up. But it's, you know, for a 25-year investment, it's worth 30 times what it was when he bought it, you know. And a huge part of that increase in value of these teams are these stadiums, because what used to be city property that they borrowed or rented or were given or whatever is now, you know, they own, you know, even though the taxpayers still paid for most of the stadium. But that's what you got to do to keep your team, I guess. For the Pirates, Daryl Lopez. Yeah, the funny part was today, so like, as with most stadiums, Pirates is Daniel. As with most stadiums, like they have in Lincoln Financial Field, they have the bottom, they have kind of a center section that's like the suites attached to like outdoor seating, you know, for the mega wealthy or corporations or whoever, you know. And then they have the top section, nosebleeds and all that, you know. And my son had noticed today, like, again, you have to understand, if you weren't around here today, it was torrential downpours. Like, I mean, it wasn't like a little light rain. It was, you know, coming sideways with like 35, 40 mile an hour winds during the game. It was bad. And it's funny, like if you saw the top section, the nosebleeds full, bottom section full, but all the middle where like the wealthy folk are, no one's sitting in the seats. They were either hiding inside or they didn't show up, one or the other. So those are people who go to a lot of games. They don't have to make it all the time, you know, if they don't want to. The Viking Stadium was paid off 5 years early. Who was paying for the Viking Stadium? And then, of course, the big thing came up today. I heard a guy on Sports Talk going into the game today complaining that why don't we have a dome? Now, granted, people in Philadelphia still think Lincoln Financial Field is new for some reason. I don't understand. It's 20 years old. That, you know, I mean, not that 20 years is old as far as stadiums go, but I mean, it's not like, you know, Lincoln Financial just opened a few years ago. It opened back in like 2001, I think. 2000 or something like that. And somebody was calling into the radio station saying how nobody builds a stadium like that anymore without at least a retractable or some kind of roof to it. And I was thinking about that, and I guess he's kind of right. And I wonder if, you know, they build a stadium today in Philadelphia, if they would put some sort of roof on it, you know. Cespedes, 47 of 50. For the White Sox, I believe, right? For Matthew. Here you go, buddy. You live in Minnesota and never been there. Oh, cigarette tax. Yeah, sure. All the smokers get to pay for it. But I do, and look, I mean, when you go to a game like today and it costs you money and this and that, it would be kind of nice to have a roof on the place, you know? But at the same time, the guy who was doing the show, the pregame on the radio that we were listening to on the way there, brought up a great point that football is the only sport, and I mean, maybe there are others, but I can't think of any in this country, where the weather is a huge factor. You know, like if you have downpours like you had today, there's no way a baseball game is getting played. It's being postponed. It's being delayed. It's being whatever. Um, I'm sure if there was an outdoor basketball game or hockey game, it was like that, they would kind of do the same. But you think of all the great games that happened, not only because the games are good, but because the weather played such a huge factor in. Here in Philly, a big one was the Fog Bowl back in the 90s or 80s, whenever that was. Cal Conley for the Green Jackets. I believe that's the Bravos for Barat. You think of the Patriots game. What was the Patriots game with the snow and the guy driving out with the snow blower and making the room for him to kick the field goal? I mean, it is the one sport where weather plays a significant factor in the game. And who doesn't love a football game when there's like an inch of snow on the ground? It's awesome. you know? And if you roof every place, you lose that, So I kind of get that too, but I mean, it's not like they don't get their money. I mean, no matter what the weather is, the tickets sell. They all sell out. So. But there have been some great games that were great because of the weather situation, Khalil Watson draftee. Yeah, well, that's why it costs so much to smoke. They want a new stadium. Oh man. Wow. Francisco Alvarez to 25, future cornerstone. This is an awesome hit. Wow. This was the one we pulled of Luciano last night, too. For David. Wow. That's it. That's awesome. There you go, buddy. Nice hit. Congrats. 25. Called getting the right guy at the right time. Excuse me. I'm probably going to be sick now after being in that today of the flu or something. I had this guy today too. Oh my God, what a jerk. So, where my son and my seat were, how you go to a football game, everyone's always standing. Nobody sits down at a football game. Your seats are just the place, you stand in front of, right? So we go to our seats, our legitimate seats, and we're standing there watching the game, whatever. And in the middle of the second quarter, this guy comes up, and I guess we had moved a little bit, and I guess I was over in front of his seat. Like I was seat 12, he was seat 13, and he's like, "You're in front of my seat," and he's like, "Show me his ticket." I'm like, "Oh, sorry, bud." Like, no big deal. I didn't even realize, and I even said to the guys on the other side, "Was the guys, can you move down a little bit so we're in front of the seat?" And then the guy proceeded to stand there, like arms crossed, straight, like taking up all the room in front of his seat, like he was standing guard or something. I was like, dude, would you calm down? Like, it was so weird. Connor Norby for the Orioles. Like, God forbid you cross 1 inch over into my territory. And I even said to my son, because he was on the other side of me, I was like, "You got to move over some. This guy's up my ass over here." And I was like, I don't know if he's doing this on purpose or just being a jerk or he wants to get in a fight or what. I didn't dude, it is way too nasty out here to deal with any of this. But he was, and then the funny part was the halftime came around, dude never came back. It was only for, like half of a quarter that he was there. So I don't know. People are nuts. You find this is the issue I'm gonna die on. You're in front of my seat. Okay, sorry. I mean, it'd be one thing if it wasn't my seat, but it was. Like legitimately we were next to each other. But God forbid. Pedro Leon, brick by brick. Alex Benalis for the Greenville Drive. This is where I forget some of these guys. They're the Drive. Boston. Boston. That's right. Alex Benalis is Boston. Thank you, John. Thank you, John. Sometimes you remember the players. Sometimes you remember the team. It's like my sorter's going to be so pissed when he gets here tomorrow. I warned him. He's never seen pro debut before. He's new to the whole hobby, and he's been sorting for a few months now. He does a pretty good job. But I warned him last week. I was like, listen, pro debut's coming out next week. He's like, okay, what does that mean? I was like, minor league teams. And I gave him a cheat sheet to take home. I said, you might want to just take a gander at this. I was like, about 60% of the cards you won't have a problem with because it'll have a Mets or it'll have a, but about 40% of them are going to be teams you never heard of. And you're going to have to know where they go. He's like, oh, okay, no big deal. Like, he was like, yeah, sure, no problem. I'm like, yeah, wait till you come back and try and do it. For the Red Sox, Tyler Mcdonough, 83 of 199. He was the top. Oh yeah, that's right. He came from the Brewers. That's right. Actually, I think I have his auto. His now that you say that, or maybe I sold it. I think I had his. It wasn't his Chrome auto. Just was out recently. His first Chrome or first Bowman wasn't that long ago. That's right. I do remember now that you said that. But he's like, yeah, no problem. This sounds like, yeah, wait till you come in and see it. Because the first time I sorted pro debut, I want to rip my hair out. Now, the worst is football. When you have college for football, that's the worst, the sort. Because like half the guys aren't even in like NFL. You have no idea. Sometimes you can do like just 200 football cards from college and it take you hours to sort it because you got to like look up guys one by one. Like, it's the worst. Pulled a refractor. It's like, yeah, that's right. Our last pack. Here we go. Tristan Cassis, brick by brick. All righty, guys. I want to thank everyone for joining us this evening. As always, I couldn't do this without you guys, and I truly, truly do appreciate it. As I said before, we'll be back on Tuesday night with more pro debut and some Prism also. And we got a bunch of great spots over on the website. If you want to head over there and check that out, I would appreciate it. We got Prism over there, Topps Chrome Series 2, all kinds of fun stuff. Otherwise, please stay safe and stay healthy out there. And bear with me for 1 sec while we do this hit recap. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you breaking with us, buddy. I really do. Come back and see us again. Even if you don't buy a spot, just come back and hang out. All right. Hit recap for 2022 pro debut, third hobby case break number 2. That's Alex Ramirez. That's a good hit. He's a hell of a player, this kid. To 199, Ramirez, Leonard, Bachman, Palmares, and Mcdonough. Andrew Painter to 150. Max Ferguson to 75. And Cespedes Gold to 50. Cespedes for the rest of us. And autographs. Let me see. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16. Okay, we got the right amount. I want to see if we had any bonuses. All right. Autographs. Herniza, Made, Schwartz, Velasquez, Moeller, Jason Dominguez, Holgate, Torres, Lopez, Benalis, Connor Norby, and Cal Conley. Angeles to 150, 299, Alexander Mojico, and Kevin Made, and a very delicious Francisco Alvarez to 25, future Cornerstones auto. Congrats to the Mets on that one. All right, guys, again, thank you so much. Please, everybody have a wonderful week. I hope to see everyone Tuesday night. Hit that like and subscribe on your way out the door, and go check out chefsportscards.com. I'll see you later. Bye.